When I say that this was not the intended video. Ugh. So, once upon a time, right before the TikTok ban, I started getting served incredible content. The algorithm was algorithming, and thus I fell into the trap of yet another Real Shorts movie. And so I thought, you know what would be fun is if I filmed myself watching the entire thing because it was all on TikTok. I don't know if it was like a freebie or whatever, but they had every single part on TikTok to watch. And so I decided I would just screen record and then, cut it up, cut out a bunch of it, and upload it. When I say that I probably dumped 12 to 15 hours into that video, like editing it and everything, I am not joking. So you can imagine my horror when I went to upload the video. I was working on it, finally going to bed at like 3 in the morning, and I get the notification that my video has been blocked in every single territory worldwide. Basically, it just was unviewable to anyone other than me. It kind of hurts to think about it. That's why there wasn't a video last week, was because I physically could not spend any more time video editing that weekend. But we're here in a different format, and look, like, I get it. The people who made that film had every right to copyright block whatever they want. I'm just saying that I wasn't happy about it, and that I've, used plenty of clips from stuff before, and I've never actually had that issue. I've had issues with things getting blocked in certain specific territories, but never the whole world. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about money, guns, and a Merry Christmas. And I know it's not Christmas, but it was still January when I saw the original thing. And when I tell you that was how I was going to go out on TikTok. It took 2 days to film. I started filming the day before the TikTok ban, and I was like, this will be fun. And then I realized this movie is over 2 hours long, just split into little TikTok pieces. And so I came back the next day and I was filming it, and as I was filming the whole thing and I was getting to the end of the movie, I realized the comments weren't working. I couldn't like anything, and it was getting slow to load, and I was like, the ban is happening 4 hours early? And it doesn't even matter now that I barely made it in time to watch the whole thing. You know what? It's fine. In case you're not as chronically online as I am, TikTok might still get banned in about 2 months. The extension will be up. I haven't heard any news that it's not gonna happen, so it might get banned again. The horrors persist, but so do I. Anyway, if TikTok's still alive and kicking, I'll link it in the description, and I think it's actually on YouTube, which I was kind of shocked to find out, because normally with these Real Short movies, they get you hooked. This is how they do it, okay? They show you part 1 and 2 of the movie, and it's like a retargeting ad situation. So then they show you something way later in the movie, and for me, it was a billionaire romance, and then all of a sudden somebody was being tortured by a gang. Not real torture. This is Real Shorts. They don't even use sound effects when people hit each other. But then I was like, I have to know how we got here. Normally when you want to do that, I experienced this with, what's the other one that I did? The werewolf one. I could not find it anywhere. I had to download Real Shorts to watch the werewolf one because it was so impossible to find all the parts online. And I was like, I'm not downloading that app again. It's a minute of movie and then a minute of ads. It's essentially a 4-hour movie with so many ads. But imagine my surprise when I find the whole thing for free. Anyway, if you want to go watch it before we get into it, go do that now. It's a time. I feel bad when I watch these sometimes because no, they're not made well. But is that the point? Because part of me thinks is the word kitsch. What am I looking for? It's not necessarily meant to be good. This is if Wattpad became a movie. And I'm not talking about the masterpieces that some people put on Wattpad, because they do. They genuinely, there's some good books on Wattpad, but you know what I'm talking about. And when you're reading those books on Wattpad, you're not there for the literary mastery. You know what I mean? You're there for some drama and for some fun and vibes. And that's exactly what this movie delivered as well. I am going to be getting into spoilers. If you don't want to know what happens yet, it is your time to exit. If not, and you're not going to watch it, just stick around. It'll be fun. I'm not sure how intense the copyright thing is. I might try to sprinkle in little bits of that original video that I filmed and see if we can get away with shorter clips and stuff. So we open the movie on a billionaire showing up to, I don't even know what the word for it is, talk to the people who run the military and sell them weapons. They're really trying to go like Tony Stark.
Up or I'll take you down.
Language.
Sir, this con man was trying to talk his way into our secure facility. Con man. This is Damian Blaine, CEO of Atlas Defense Group.
And so he shows up and he's like talking about these weapons that he made that is like 10 times faster than whatever they have right now. They buy all the weapons and they're like, just, we don't care about the cost. Give us all of them.
No matter the cost, we'll take it up.
I'm sure that's how it's done in real life.
I thought you'd say so.
He's like, actually, your weapons are so good. The president wants to have dinner with you. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't have dinner. I have to go meet my future wife. And he says it like his dad had set him up and he's worried. He's worried about his son not getting married because he's a billionaire. And I was like, I think that would help the situation. But anyway, he goes to dinner with this girl and he's talking to her and she asks him what he makes. This is the first date, by the way.
50 or 60?
60 grand? Good Lord, you can't even get a one-bedroom rental on that.
Before he can say million, she cuts him off and she's like, 50 to 60,000? Money's the only thing that matters, and like runs away.
Money's the only thing that matters. What a waste of my time.
So ridiculous. The way that this character was like, the way that all the characters, honestly, are just so one-dimensional. And here's my thing, is that I think that's purposeful. I think, to an extent, this is supposed to be mindless viewing. You don't need nuance in this story. I also think because it's vertical, there's something to be said about making content that can be viewed on silent. And I don't know if we really like talk about it all that much. I know like a lot of people, they're just like, oh, put subtitles on stuff so that we can, see what you're saying even if our phone is on silent. Because this is not actually made to watch on a TV or movie screen, a lot of it is very almost caricature-ish or like stereotypical one-dimensional character. You could watch this on silent and know exactly what's happening. Like, you don't need the dialogue at all. Anyway, let me know what you think about that, because I think that's a really interesting like thing that's occurring as people stop watching long-form content. Like, I know that YouTube now has surpassed Netflix, I think, as far as watch time. Even on TVs, like YouTube, people actually watch YouTube on TV. But I do think there is a certain demographic of people who don't watch very much at all on a big screen. Like they do watch vertical content through TikTok almost exclusively. I'm just interested to see how that affects storytelling, especially in the vertical format. But anyway, I digress. This girl leaves the restaurant thinking that this guy makes $50,000 or $60,000 a year when he makes 50 or 60 million. And we cut to this girl who is also on a first date. And she is with a sleazebag. And he is talking about how he can help her family company. She is now the CEO. Like, it seems fairly recent. And her family is trying to marry her off to somebody rich so that they can save the family business. And she dumps her drink on this guy. And then she goes and sits down with our billionaire, who no one knows is a billionaire, and she proposes a marriage contract.
This is the best date I've had in ages.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
I don't care how much you make. I just need to get married to get my parents off my back while I fix our business.
And then he agrees, even though she doesn't know, like she has no idea how much money he makes. Which, first of all, 50 or 60 mil, like obviously that's a lot of money, but it seems like weirdly low for a billionaire. How many hundred millions in a billion? Is it a 1,000 millions? This is why I'm not a no math. Anyway, she tells him that as her new fiance, he needs to come home with her for Christmas. And he gets the family all these Christmas presents. And he shows up to the mom's house. And the mom is like the worst. Think as if it's like the mom from Mean Girls, if she was like the worst person on the planet.
I was hoping it was all a bad dream, but you're really here. My daughter really married a poor salesman.
What the heck? He tells everyone that he's a salesman, which he is. He sells weapons to the government. But for some reason, every single person in her family assumes that being a salesman means you're like dirt poor. And they treat him as such. And our main character, Iris, she makes it very clear to this guy, by the way, his name is Damian, that the only thing her family cares about is money. And so they insult him to his face repeatedly. And then, for some reason, on Christmas, Iris is, like, the person that her mom wants Iris to marry shows up, and he is the worst.
This is Marcus Walton, heir to the Walton Group, and the only man worthy of marrying my daughter.
Like, he is totally into himself, talking about how much money he's going to make with this deal with Atlas Weapons, who we know that the guy main character, Damian, is in charge of. This guy, who is not related in any way other than the fact that he's not even dating Iris, he stays with them for all of Christmas. And they go and show up at, like, the grandpa's house so that more family members can be rude to Damian.
Who's this rando?
You must be Tom. Listen, guy, we all have a stake in this family business. You can't just waltz in here with Iris and steal it from us.
If you all can't be decent, my husband and I are gonna have to leave.
One of Iris's little cousins, who he didn't know about, like didn't bring a gift for, runs up and she has a money gun for Christmas. Okay.
Pew, 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 pew. Uncle Damian, my money gun's empty. Can you give me some money to fill it up for Christmas?
He's like, I don't have any cash on me. And the whole family is the worst. They're like, oh, surprise, surprise, the salesman doesn't have any cash. Who carries cash these days? I quite simply never, ever have cash. But anyways, Damian, he fills out a check for $10,000 and gives it to this girl. And he's like, go cash the check and then you'll be able to fill up the money gun. She gets all excited, but then her dad like snatches the check out of her hand and like crumples it up. And he's like, we know that this is no good. Why are you trying to show off for Iris, your new wife, whatever? It's so annoying. It's at this point that you start to get annoyed with the family, and by the end of the movie, you want to individually punch each of them. We have dinner, and Iris's family tries to... It's so stupid. This is what I mean by like just purely one-dimensional characters. They don't have a chair for him at the table, and then he pulls up a metal chair that just happens to be sitting in the background. Don't get me started on the sets. And then he pulls his chair up and they give him a bowl of dog food.
Oh, you won't eat the food we give you. You ungrateful little gold digger.
It was shocking. Like, it's not even normal human behavior. And they're like insulting him throughout the whole entire dinner. Iris is like, guys, can you please stop? This is my husband. But they literally will never stop. Marcus, the guy who Iris's family want her to marry, he has also brought gifts. And they're very expensive gifts. They're very nice gifts. But like, Iris doesn't want anything from him. And of course, her entire family is like gushing over him.
49-year-old whiskey's 50 grand right there.
It was worn at last year's Met Gala.
Gala?
100 grand. You should return it and ask for a refund.
Iris, are you serious? This would look amazing on you.
I quite literally don't think that's how that works at that price point. They told Damian, we don't want your gifts. Like, you're going to be so embarrassed by how much he spent. Like, that is the only thing that matters to them on this Christmas, is how much money people spend on their Christmas gifts. It's so dumb. I feel like this movie, I couldn't look away. You know, like, it's overacted. That's why I'm wondering, like, first of all, if it's made to be viewed potentially without the sound. And then second, if it's written by AI. I, about halfway through the movie, started wondering this. Because it's so overdone, so, like, stereotypical, like, exactly what you would expect from a one-dimensional character. And also, I'll tell you one thing, that anytime people start to complain about Damian, they had to go to each individual character so that they could add their own little quip about Damian. It was never like one person said something, they're like, oh, Damian, you can't afford that. And the next person is like, yeah, you probably blah, blah, blah. And like, they would go, every single character had their own little thing to say. And it was like, honestly so annoying. But anyways, they start opening up Damian's gifts. And somebody opens up a little box, which first of all, they bring the boxes in. Damian's assistant, when he was putting them in the car, he's like, the family didn't send like a car to pick you up. And he's like, do you want me to deliver these packages like more securely? They're really expensive. I was like, what could possibly fit in a box that tiny that is that expensive? Like, am I not cultured enough? Because truly not that much could fit in the box. And so the first guy, like, I don't know if it's Iris's brother or whatever, he opens the box and it's keys and it's to a yacht. And then the next person opens their gift. It's a Van Gogh, which first of all, the whole family calls it they're like, oh, a Renaissance painting. And that's not Renaissance. That's one of the reasons I thought it was AI, was because like they got all the like the time period of the art mixed up. It was very weird. Like, I was like, oh, is it just to show that they're not like as rich as they claim they are, and like they don't have that background? Whatever. I don't know exactly what they were going for there, but it was like weird, but also kind of funny. That's not a Renaissance painting. I don't know the heiress super well. Like, I knew it was Van Gogh, but yeah, post-impressionist makes more sense. And then, so the mom is like shook, and she's like, wow, like everyone, multiple times throughout the movie, Damian will show his wealth in a certain way. And they'll all start to soften and be like, wow, like, how'd you get this? How'd you buy this? How do you have this much money? And then someone would make up any excuse for this man to not have money. And so at that point, I think it's Marcus who's like, these are fakes. Like, or he's, oh yeah, they said, these are fakes.
Knockoffs. They're fake.
The comments always get me on this. It was just an ad. How did I get to part 4? And then the mom, she's like, oh yeah, this painting is fake. And then one of the guys like punches through, even knowing that this is a Reelshort movie and that it's obviously not the real thing and that this whole plot is so dumb. Even watching that man punch through it, I still had like a visceral reaction of like, I cannot believe they just did that.
Right. Ooh, that looks like fun.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna do it to the Van Gogh. Oh my gosh.
Do you have any idea what you just did?
They're just fakes anyway.
Displayed this painting, we'd be arrested for fraud and forgery.
I beg your pardon? You can have copies of Van Goghs. Like, if it was a poster, it's not illegal.
The painting, the necklace, the bow. They're real.
Grandpa, you should have spoken up a little earlier. So like I said, this family will find any reason to not believe that Damian is rich. And so that is when Marcus pipes up and he's like, okay, maybe they aren't replicas. Maybe he stole them. And the thing is, they think that he stole them from Harvey, the CEO of Atlas Defense Group, who is Damian's employee. But they think that Harvey is at the very top of the company. He tries to tell the family that Harvey is his employee. And they're like, well, we'll just see about that. Call Harvey. And he calls Harvey. Harvey answers. And he like talks to him. He's like, come over to the Olsen house or whatever. Prove that you know me. Like, see me in person and stuff.
To the Olsen house.
To the Olsen house. And then he hangs up. And then everyone's like, show us your phone so we can see what number you just called. Because Marcus has Harvey's phone number. We can just compare. And then Damian holds up the phone. He's like, it automatically deletes anybody that I called because of security. And I'm like, is that real? Like, is that even possible? But it doesn't matter because the family just uses that as a reason for why he is not actually Harvey's employer. And because of this is where things get weird. So, out of nowhere, Marcus, this rich guy, somehow has ties to the local gang, the Vipers. The Vipers appear, remember, we are in Grandpa's mansion. They walk down the stairs and they get Damian. Marcus is like, take care of this man. He's an imposter. He's a thief, whatever. And they're like, we'll take him to the Viper Den. And then they take him upstairs. The continuity, it was not there at any point. Because also, when Harvey comes in and he's looking for Damian, and we're about to cut off, like, it's like the equivalent of a commercial break. You need to go get the next part. He goes, where's like, he's saying his own name. Like, where's Harvey instead of where's Damian?
Where's Harvey?
Wait, did he just say where's Harvey? Isn't he Harvey? Viper pit just upstairs. Why this got me so stressed? Like, I understand that these are low budget, but guys, like, we can't just say that the Viper Den is upstairs and then in the next scene, it's in a different building altogether. Also, I would like to note that I hated every single outfit. I'm just like remembering how much I hated the outfit until they took the jacket off to sit him down in the chair. It was still bad, but like the whole time, this man, he's like supposed to be a billionaire and none of his clothes fit. It was so normally I don't care about stuff like that. Like, it never really gets me. Like, I would not say that I'm like a fashion girly in any way. And so for that to bother me, like, it must have been a pretty significantly bad suit every single time we see him. This outfit is so much better without the jacket. I thought without the jacket that this outfit would be fine, but it's not. Anyways, they have him down at the Viper Den and Harvey shows up and he's wondering where Damian is. Oh, also backtrack real quick. That little girl, she did go cash the check, and she came in and she sprayed everybody with her money gun with her $10,000. This happened on Christmas because, of course, the bank was open. And also during Christmas, we have now gone to the gang members' den where they've tied up Damian, and the gang leader is being ordered around by Marcus, who also shows up to the Viper Den, which I just find a smidge unbelievable. Also, Harvey, the leader of this massive weapons company, knows the leader of the Vipers because the local gang wants access to the Atlas Defense weapons. And he's like, my guys need the best weapons. Do you need nuclear bombs? They also had the leader of the gang, like wearing a vest that clearly marked him out as a U.S. Army veteran, which I thought was a choice. Anyways, we have Harvey show up to the Viper Den because everybody knows where the gang's secret hideout is. And he shows up with two of his guys, and they, tell off the gang or whatever. And the gang member is like, sorry. Trying to explain this in a logical, one point after another makes me feel like I am rattling off completely different storylines. Anyways, Iris has left the family to go find Damian. Mind you, this girl is probably 100 pounds soaking wet. She's teeny tiny. And she comes in thinking that she's going to fight off gang members with a crowbar that she found outside. But the kicker is that when she walks into the den, she is here. She has the crowbar here, and she's covered her eyes exactly like this. She's like, don't worry, Damian, I'll save you.
Damian, don't hurt my husband.
What? Why'd she come in like this? What? What good is it supposed to do? Listen, I know that the actors are doing a job. They were hired to do this. They have to an extent, follow the direction. We are not so far into AI that this whole movie was AI. There were literal humans directing, behind the camera, acting, and editing. And at no point did anyone go, why would she walk into the gang den ready to fight with her eyes covered? And I mean, I get maybe she wanted plausible deniability, but I feel like that is too deep of a thinking level for this. Anyway, luckily Damian is alone in there. He was just, I guess, collecting his thoughts before he left. He tells Iris, thank you for coming to save me. And the thing is, at this point, Iris she still thinks that Damian is not rich. She just doesn't care that she thinks he's lying to her family. It's so weird. She knows Damian's a good person, and that's all that really matters to her, which I get. But if she doesn't believe he's rich, that means that she believes he's lying and has been consistently lying all day of Christmas. Also, I said it with the werewolf one that I watched. I think the problem, a big problem with the romance in these stories is the score, because there were so many little moments throughout the story where I feel like they were trying to make it spicy or swoony romantic, and it just felt awkward. And I think part of it also was the fact that every time Iris is standing next to Damian, I feel like the director was like, you're too close in height, scrunch down. And she would stand I feel like the way they're standing, they predetermined that the height difference is not enough. And so she has to scrunch down. She would stand so weird next to him that I was like, you look uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable the whole movie, which didn't help. It didn't feel natural. And then we get the call that Iris's grandfather is in the hospital. Damian decides that he's going to call in the world's best doctor because, of course, the world's best doctor just happens to be 5 minutes away. We do brain surgery. Reminder that this is all happening on Christmas in one day. Brain surgery. They said that the grandfather had brain melt disease, which at first I was like, what on earth? Who wrote the script truly? And then I looked it up, and it is actually a real condition, but for some reason I feel like whoever wrote the script just did not look that up.
Is this real? Oh my gosh. Well, this just took like a really depressing turn.
The grandfather is cured. He wakes up. Everyone tries to convince the grandfather that they're the reason he is alive and taken care of because they want more money from him in their inheritance. Iris is clearly the favorite though, and the grandfather likes Damian, so nothing really comes of that. He just like tells his other grandkids that they're useless. They also tell Damian that he clearly brought in an imposter doctor because he could not possibly be rich enough to know the world's best doctor. It's so stupid. Meanwhile, we're also getting ready for this like gala situation where there's supposed to be a big celebration for Marcus and his family's company, the Walton Group, to be signing with Atlas Defense. Obviously, the owner of Atlas Defense is pretty annoyed at Marcus. So we get to this like end scene. We're supposed to have this gala, and apparently the people who work there have never seen Damian before, which just seemed kind of weird. And then we also have Marcus coming in. But here's the thing is that Damian said that Marcus can't come to the party anymore. But he hasn't told Marcus that he's canceling their like deal yet. And so Damian walks in and he's with Iris and they're dressed to the nines, except that his suit looks really weird because all of his suits look weird. And Marcus manages to convince the guards at the party, not once, but twice, that Damian is an imposter. And there's no backing for it other than he's like, this is not, he just doesn't look like the guy. He doesn't look like he would be the owner. I'm like, how do you know what he looks like? Like, what do you mean? Anyway, there's like a brief fight scene where Damian has to fight his own guards who have never seen him before or even know what he looks like. For someone who is the top person in a defense group, he doesn't fight very well. It was very awkward and it didn't look very athletic, I guess. I think it's just weird choreography and a mixture of them never using any type of like slap or punch noise. I don't think they had a Foley artist. So yeah, also this party that's supposed to be like millions of dollars clearly took place in a multi-purpose room, and I understand that they have budget constraints for this movie and that there's only so much that they can do, but they had like those giant ornaments that you buy at Home Depot for your lawn indoors in this party. So we finally get to the end, and Marcus doesn't get his deal, and Marcus's dad is there, and Damian makes the call that's like, terminate all contracts with the Walton Group.
Terminate all contracts and partnerships with the Walton Group. Effective immediately.
Did he just tell that to Siri? Like, who did he call?
It's nonsense. You're about to meet the real Mr. Blaine. Obviously,
Why'd he throw money at him?
Atlas canceled all of our contracts. We're bankrupt. Apologize to Mr. Blaine now.
But Dad, he's lying! When the real Mr. Blaine gets here, we're gonna sign $1 billion contract. Doesn't matter if we're broke now, we're gonna...
Every single line he says is through clenched teeth. It's driving me crazy.
Use Mr. Blaine's phone and sent false information.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
Harvey is there. He confirms Damian's identity. Harvey was my favorite character in the movie, between the fashion sense and just the general attitude. Anyway, reminder that this is all happening on Christmas. A single, 18-hour period at most. And the grandfather... So then, all of Iris's family is there. They get the contracts, which, first of all, we at no point had any explanation of what the Olsen Group did. As far as we know, Damian is giving a family business of some sort U.S. government level clearance army stuff. I'm like, what if they own a furniture store? We have no idea what this family does. But that's what he decides to do with his $1 billion business. So all of Iris's family now finally understands that Damian's rich, and they all just kind of scuttle away, and they're like, oh, we didn't actually mean it. Marcus made us pretend like you weren't rich. I'm just like, by the time we were getting to the end of this movie, I was pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, Iris and Damian have their happily ever after. She finally also believes that he's rich. She's like, oh, I married someone to get out of being forced to marry someone rich, and I accidentally picked a billionaire. And I'm like, how about that?
A Christmas miracle.
May this day be filled with...
What's a miracle is that man had brain surgery less than 12 hours ago. And he's
happiness and
standing.
time.
And then it's happily ever after, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't remember at all what the last scene was.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
That annoyed me.
Don't remember. The thing is that for me, this is like one of those things, it's so bad that you can't look away, yet somehow it is also addicting to watch. Like, I could not watch the rest of it. And I gotta tell you that the people in the comments made the whole thing 10 times better. Like, they're so fun. And I love specifically with stuff like this, it more so happens on, like, the werewolf ones, where people are in the comments like, my friends cannot know that I like this. And I think it's so funny. They are so bad. And I do feel bad because, like, it's not anybody's fault, really. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that the actors are bad, because I think given a good script, given a good situation and properly fitting attire, like, they would be doing really well. So much of the time, like, it's not the actor, it's the script and the music. And because if you watch scenes in movies without the music in the background, like, a lot of them can be very awkward. And I'm just interested in, like, honestly, I'm interested in how the money works. This is a 2-hour film. Like, it's a production, even if it's not great, and even if it was all filmed in a rented Airbnb. How do they make the money back? Are that many people downloading Reelshort? I'll admit, like, I downloaded it for that Fated to My Forbidden Alpha movie that I wanted to watch the rest of. So, I mean, I guess, like, the ad revenue is enough, but I'm just, like, shocked that they're able to keep cranking out so many of these. This just happened to be the one that got on my For You page, and then they saw me watch it, and they saw me watch part 2, and they're like, we got her. We got her. Start sending her ads for Reelshort. After that, TikTok broke. So that's how I spent my time on TikTok. That's all I really got, honestly. I just kind of wanted to chat about this because I thought this movie was hilarious. If you watched it, did you like it? Who's your favorite character? Did you think that all of the outfits were horrible? Because they were. Do you get ads for Reelshorts, or is your For You page normal? Please like this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to talk about more book stuff and or more of these. I'm not against watching other ones. My name's Katelyn. Thanks for watching. Bye.